Your team depends on APIs to keep critical systems connected and running smoothly. But what happens when one of those APIs slows down, or even worse, completely stops responding? Keeping track of API performance in production can be a huge challenge. It means dealing with constant code changes and scanning through endless logs just to find out what's wrong. That's where our multi-step API monitor comes in. It makes setting up the most complex API checks super simple, even if you're not into coding. And here's the best part. It doesn't just check if your API is up, it makes sure it's doing what it's supposed to. Let's say that you need to monitor an API that processes orders, whether that's for logistics, customer transactions, or updating internal systems. Step 1 is to configure a GET request, right here in our visual editor. You can easily add request headers, out-of-the-box authentication methods, including client certificates. Once the request is set, you define what success looks like. For instance, you might need to check that a unique transaction ID is returned, the status is marked as successful, and that the response time stays within acceptable limits. We can take that transaction ID from the response and use it for next steps. For instance, to trigger a system update. By saving that value as a variable, you can easily reuse it in the following requests. Now, you're not just monitoring isolated API calls, you're simulating entire workflows, like processing orders, updating inventory, or syncing data between systems. Uptrends helps you ensure your APIs perform, as expected, every step of the way.